A live look at the White House this hour as U.S. President Donald Trump prepares for his high-stakes meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin tomorrow. On the eve of that summit, Ukraine's president is in the U.K. meeting with the Prime Minister in a show of solidarity. Now, that visit follows Volodymyr Zelensky's virtual meetings yesterday with Donald Trump and European leaders. Now, Starmer's office says tomorrow's summit in Alaska presents a, quote, viable chance to make progress as long as Russia takes action to prove that it's serious about peace. And Trump says he will prioritize a ceasefire in Ukraine during tomorrow's meeting with Putin and had this stern warning.
I don't have to say there will be very severe consequences.
That was directed at Putin if the Russian president isn't serious about negotiating tomorrow. In Moscow today, Putin met with senior ministers and security officials ahead of tomorrow's summit, and we are now learning that both Trump and Putin are expected to hold a joint news conference after their meeting again tomorrow. With me now to talk more about this is Andrew Rasiulis, who is a retired official at the Department of National Defense and fellow at the Canadian Global Affairs Institute. Good afternoon. Let me ask you, and let me start with this. What's your read and your take? We've heard lots of different ones leading up to tomorrow and this summit that Trump and Putin are going to have. What is your expectation realistically for what's going to happen at this meeting in Alaska tomorrow?
The meeting has been very carefully managed. The fact that they've announced a joint press conference following their working lunch suggests that both sides are confident that they will have deliverables, and the deliverables will probably focus on domestic, like bilateral U.S. and Russian matters, business interests, possible arms control discussions about START and INF. So I think they're confident they'll have something positive to say. As far as the Ukrainian situation goes, I think they will be modest in their perspective as to where they're going. But I don't think there will be a showdown, and nor will there be any deal or solution to the war. It'll be more of looking ahead, looking at further meetings, possibly eventually a trilateral with Zelensky, Trump, and Putin, but that really is way down the road still.
Yeah, and you know, there's been more talk about that from Donald Trump, who is, you know, getting ahead of himself, talking about that possibility at some point. Now, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukraine president, in the UK today to meet with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Any takeaways from that? This is just, again, solidarity. We talked about yesterday's call with European leaders too, but this is just Ukraine still trying to, at least at this point, shore up all of its support?
Yes, this is a replay basically on the meeting in Berlin yesterday, and yet again a replay of the London meeting on Saturday that Starmer hosted. So there's been 3 of these meetings with Zelensky coming to Europe to, again, as you say, shore up European support for Ukraine, but that's as far as it goes, really. It's a bilateral meeting in Alaska tomorrow between the Russians and the Americans. They'll simply take note, if you will, but it's their shot. It's their show.
Right. And I guess still the big question, I think, that many people have, and Donald Trump has said he's going to know, at least according to him, in the first couple of minutes, whether Vladimir Putin is going to be serious about this or not, but that Putin has the leverage in this sort of meeting. Sure, they're meeting in Alaska. They are meeting on U.S. soil. But at least at this point, what's your read on where Putin is trying to get with this meeting? Do you believe he is actually serious, or is this just some sort of show?
It's a part of a process. This is a very serious, if we call it a show, it's a serious show. There's a lot of political symbolism involved, particularly for Putin. He gets to meet the American president on American soil. This demonstrates to the world that Putin is a man to be dealt with, to be talked with. He's a powerful person of a powerful country. And on the front lines today, as they meet tomorrow in Alaska, the Russians are advancing slowly, but they're making some interesting progress over the last few days on the front lines in Ukraine. So the Ukrainians are desperate in their defensive positions. They're not breaking, but they are falling back. So Putin comes into this looking pretty strong, and I think he's looking for a win. But again, I have to say, the Americans think they're going to get a win as well. So I really think there'll be a win-win at the end of the day.
Andrew Rasiulis, appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for this.
You're very welcome, Matt.